Nanjung was the class-certified bottom-tier loser, but during the 100-meter sprint test, he shocked classmates and teachers alike by finishing a full lap in just 3 seconds. That speed casually shattered the world record, yet right after his glorious dump, he was still looked down on. The school's No-1 Boxing Prodigy Challenge, but Nanjung flicked a light punch and knocked the guy out cold on the spot, while his 2 lackeys were forced to call Nanjung dad. Then he casually extorted a few million for a maid cafe fund. Because Nanjung was actually the strongest cultivator of Luoyu continent, he once soloed the Demon King without backup, but when his sworn brother came to congratulate him, the traitor sneak attacked him viciously, and when he opened his eyes, he was somewhere totally unfamiliar. In front of him stood several students and a teacher, and as he was still confused, a mocking voice rang out. They sneered at the name Young Master Yi like it was a punchline, since everyone knew he'd been kicked out of his clan as worthless. A blonde girl coldly told everyone to continue the test and treat Yemo like just another useless bum. Though annoyed, the teacher resumed the test, while Yemo ignored the insults as new memories flooded his mind. Turns out this wasn't Luoyu continent. He belonged to a once-a-glorious clan, but this body had blocked Meridian's dead parents' no backing and was abandoned. Absurd as it sounded, he had truly reincarnated into another world. Here, humans hadn't mastered cultivation, only sensing a vague energy called spiritual Kai but unable to absorb it. But Yemo was different. He came from Luoyu, where cultivation was fully developed. He immediately formed hand seals, drawing nearby spiritual Kai to himself, and though the energy was thin, it was enough to restart his cultivation path. In 1 second, blue energy flared around him, clearing his blocked meridians. His body visibly transformed, taller, stronger, and brimming with vitality. This was the power of a cultivator, though only at first realm now. He knew once he returned to 11th realm, he could force his way back to Luoyu, and every traitor would pay the bill. With a sigh, he knew the road was long, but at least he had a redo. Looking at the track, he decided to test this new body. His appearance surprised the teacher, not the others. The long-haired guy mocked again, but Yemo brushed it off. Calmly, he said he wanted to run the 100 meters, triggering instant ridicule. Right then, record holder Linbei strutted out confidently, eager to humiliate Yemo again. The signal fired and Linbei shot off like an arrow. Yemo, however, stood still, making everyone burst into laughter. They thought he was slow to react, but he was counting silently 3 seconds, graciously giving his opponent a head start. As the timer ended, spiritual power exploded and Yemo vanished, dashing beyond human limits. In a blink, he passed Linbei and reached the finish, then casually stopped to count again. While Linbei sprinted desperately, Yemo stood calm, as if observing a lower life form. After finishing his count, he crossed the line. The result stunned the field: 998 seconds. Subtract the 3-second head start, it was 398 seconds. A number beyond logic. Linbei dropped to his knees on the spot. He muttered impossible while Yemo quietly examined his body. The talent wasn't bad, just nowhere near his former peak. Still, this was only the beginning to him. Linbei was an ant. In the restroom mirror, he began plotting his next move. To quickly restore power, he needed medicinal herbs, but the prices were outrageous. The tiny savings left in this body were laughably insufficient. He could draw talismans for cash, but with only 50 yuan, he could afford even basic materials. Money and resources were major headaches. As he pondered, trouble walked in. Linbei and his crew appeared behind him. A nasty voice barked, "So you're hiding here. Made me search everywhere. You ticked me off today, pay this month's protection fee now," said Linbei, track club captain, beside Wangbei, boxing club captain. Seeing them, Yemo's memories instantly resurfaced. The previous host had been bullied monthly, forced to pay up just last week had been drained dry. Linbei glanced at Wangbei with caution, urging him to act. Wangbei sneered at the useless trash. As boxing champion, he threw a straight punch without hesitation. But Yemo simply tilted aside, dodging easily, eyes turning cold too slow. His own punch shot straight into Wangbei's chin. The terrifying force sent Wangbei flipping midair to Yemo. These mortals were children. Finishing one, he didn't pause, he kicked the long-haired guy squarely. The poor guy flew off before reacting, leaving Linbei frozen. Was this really Yemo? Yemo stepped forward, killing intent, chilling the air. Scared. The light question stabbed their pride. Linbei roared and charged with the other. Their punches were effortlessly caught, Yemo's grip crushing them immobile. They screamed in pain, begging him to let go. Yemo smiled faintly. "Relax, let's take it slow." That line alone made them tremble and plead for mercy. Finally, Yemo casually flung them to the ground. Linbei shook like a leaf. "Brother Yeno, young master Yi, please spare us!" Right then, Wangbei staggered back to his feet. His face twisted in pain and humiliation. Had never been shamed like this. Gritting his teeth, Wangbei charged again. The result was worse. Within a second, he ate another heavy punch. Blood sprayed as he slammed into the wall and slid down like overcooked noodles. Yemo looked at him coldly. "Next time I won't be this gentle." The words hit like a verdict, breaking Linbei completely. In his eyes, Yemo was no longer human but a monster. He backed away, babbling apologies. Yemo ignored the pitiful act, sweeping a frosty gaze. "Return everything you took, Linbei." One glance from Yemo made it clear. "Delay a second, get shredded." Panicking, he hurriedly handed over his wallet with both hands. "It's all here." Yemo left without another word. He frowned slightly, maybe hit too hard, but judging by their faces, they wouldn't dare squeak again outside. Stunned students scrambled to rush Wangbei to the infirmary. Yemo didn't look back, already calculating too many eyes here, best leave school soon. He needed somewhere quiet. Luckily, the reclaimed cash could buy basic materials to craft simple talismans. And thus, the first step of his revenge path officially began. Talismans were tools commonly used by low-level cultivators, combining spiritual Kai and materials to create special effects. At Yemo's current realm, crafting them was child's play. Soon, he produced 5 different types. Selling them should bring a decent sum, enough to find a cultivation spot and buy medicinal herbs. Everything seemed planned, yet 3 weeks passed with no buyers. People here were too skeptical to mention talismans, and they treated him like a lunatic. His money-making plan kept crashing until one day a weak whimper sounded. Yemo turned to see a battered yellow dog staggering toward him before collapsing. Clearly hit by a car, barely breathing, Yemo sighed. Fate, I suppose. He pulled out a healing talisman to test its effect. The charm glowed soft blue, spiritual clee spreading in moments the dog's wounds began closing. Its breathing steadied, eyes slowly opening. It stood up as if never injured, barking happily in thanks. Yemo patted its. Suddenly the dog bristled and stared elsewhere. A distant annoyed voice said, "Just a mutt. If it's dead, it's dead." The girl beside the man exploded, pointing at him. "You hit it and still say that." She shoved him aside, insisting on taking the dog to the vet herself. But as they approached, both froze. The once bloody dog was completely healed, like nothing happened. The girl hurried to Yemo, eyes wide, asking what he did, while Wang Peng eyed him suspiciously, tone unfriendly. Yemo noticed the bag in her hand labeled Ninghai Hospital and guessed she was treating a relative. A money-making opportunity appeared. He pulled out a talisman and told her to try it. She first thought it was just a safety charm. Before she spoke, Wang Peng stepped in, calling Yemo a scammer. He even suspected the dog stunt was staged. Ignoring him, the girl asked hopefully if the talisman could save a vegetative patient. Yemo instantly understood her loved one must be critical. Calmly, he explained that vegetative states were spiritual damage which spiritual key could heal. The charm he held was a spirit talisman, highly effective. Wang Peng grew furious, calling it nonsense. Yemo didn't argue, just pushed him aside. He stated usage and price 20,000 for a large one, 10,000 for small. She immediately wrote a check, buying all for 50,000. Wang Peng nearly exploded, trying to stop her. Before he could act, Yemo gripped his wrist. Wang Peng yelped like a stepped-on dog as Yemo's spiritual key flared coldly. "My sale, her choice, get lost." He casually tossed him aside, then handed the talismans to the girl. After taking the money, he mentioned the other two: one protection talisman, one fireball talisman. "Hopefully you'll never need them." She thanked him soft. Her eyes shining, she asked his name. "Yemo," he replied briefly, turning away decisively. Behind him, Wang Peng kept shouting, "Scammer." But she stayed silent. The patient was her mother, no matter how slim the hope she'd try. Walking away, Yemo felt the cash in hand and planned his cultivation spot and herb purchases. Just then, the yellow dog barked loudly, making him turn sharply. From a nearby garden, he sensed a dense surge of spiritual ki. Stepping closer, Yemo was stunned. Growing there was silver heart grass, a rare spiritual herb unbelievable in this place. In the hospital room, Wang Peng sat while a nurse disinfected his wounds. Grimacing in pain, he kept cursing Yemo, unable to swallow his anger. He swore next time he'd make Yemo pay. Outside, Jianzhong overheard everything, his expression darkening. He had come out of goodwill. If this spread, the family's reputation would suffer. He glared at Jingwen, scolding her for associating with a street swindler. Nearby nurses whispered that she spent tens of thousands on useless charms. Rich girls were easy marks. Their words pierced Jingwen like needles, yet she clutched the talisman tightly. In a trembling voice, she said she wanted to try once more, just one last time. Jianzhong grew angrier, berating her for not waking up. He even sneered that next she'd probably go hire a god. Her words made Jingwen snap back, eyes brimming with grievance. She demanded what Jianzhong had done, how many visits since her mother's coma, and if earlier treatment might change fate. The question left Jianzhong speechless. Jingwen turned away, exposing her buried thought that he was just waiting for her to sign papers and move on freely. The words cut deep. Jianzhong angrily raised his hand, but it froze midair. He stared at it for a long moment, then sighed and lowered it. In the end, he turned away coldly, saying he'd have the nurse pull the tube. Jingwen broke down crying, gripping her mother's hand, refusing to agree. She pressed the talisman onto her mother's palm, vowing not to give up. Suddenly, it blazed with bright blue light. The room seemed to freeze. A gentle voice whispered Wen, as Zhou Rong slowly opened her eyes and weakly stroked her daughter's head. Hearing his wife's voice, Jianzhong spun around, too stunned to speak. Zhou Rong smiled kindly from the bed, softly asking why her daughter had grown so thin. Jingwen snapped back to reality, tears pouring as she hugged her mother. Jianzhong rushed out to call the doctor, voice trembling with emotion. Doctors and nurses hurried in, hardly believing the news. All stood agape. The woman, comatose for years, had miraculously awakened, though recovery would take time. Waking alone was a miracle. Jingwen looked at the talisman, its glow faded, then vanished. She instantly knew it was the talisman's doing. Everyone around was dumbstruck. Jianzhong muttered in disbelief. Doctors wanted top experts to verify. Wang Peng stood petrified, rubbing his eyes. Could that man really be an immortal? Jingwen clutched her mother, tears mixed with smiles, gratitude surging within. She vowed that if she met Yemo again, she'd repay him at any cost. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Yemo moved into a new place, luggage and yellow dog in tow. Entering his small room, he considered himself officially out of school. Step 1 toward returning to Luoyu continent. Standing there, he clenched his fist. To return, he must reach 11th realm again, requiring spiritual spring and spiritual materials. A cold glint flashed. Those traitors' due date was approaching. Lying on the bed, hand raised, he pondered a grave issue. The world's spiritual key was fading. If this continued, cultivation would hit a dead end. He had to find cured places or items. The best options were spiritual springs. The plan was simple once it matured and bore fruit. He'd refine chi refining pills and step into second realm. The pill refining racket would draw too much heat, so Yemo decides to quietly grind his cultivation first. Soon after, in a buzzing, shoulder-bumping street, Yemo is back curbside selling talismans, calculating that condensing key herbs cost an arm and a leg. His cash stash is pathetic. One tiny stall won't fix it, and despite keeping things hush-hush, he's clearly being watched. A side glance confirms it, the same crew tailing him in organized fashion. They've stalked him since day 3, and today they're even more, clearly ready to make a move. Yemo packs up calmly, sneering inwardly. Fine, let's see who's so eager to die. Just then, a familiar voice calls his name. Wang Ying pops up, worried that he's skipping school to hawk goods on the street. She assumes the abandoned, weakened Yemo is broke and even ditching his studies. Yemo recalls she was one of the few who defended the original host. Wang Ying hurriedly rummages for cash to lend him. Yemo gently refuses and walks away, claiming he has business. She's left puzzled, sensing something's off. Meanwhile, Yemo heads straight into a deserted alley. has already mapped the enemy 7 on the left, 3 on the right. Thinking since you're here, let's finish it, he prepares to settle it all. The moment he runs, the stalkers reveal themselves and give chase. All of them flood into the alley. At the dead end, Yemo stops blocked in front, and now blocked behind too. Wu Bei and Zhou Feng's gang show up, faces dripping with malice. Killing intent thick in the air, they bluntly hint he offended a major family. Trash like him doesn't deserve peaceful breathing rights. Yemo instantly thinks of Ning Jingsu. The Ning family heiress once betrothed to the original host, though the engagement should been void after his expulsion. Killing over that alone seems excessive. Clearly, someone else is pulling the strings. While his thinking, Wang Ying secretly follows out of worry. Seeing armed men surround Yemo, she turns pale as paper. She hurriedly grabs her phone to call the police. Before she can dial, a huge hand clamps down on her. Li Qiang appears with a nasty grin, yanking her hair while mocking and threatening her. Wang Ying's scream makes everyone in the alley turn. Realizing the boss has arrived, the danger spikes. Instantly trembling, Wang Ying still shouts for Yemo to run. She even tries to threaten them with her status. Li Qiang only sneers. Once this is done, no one will know. He pulls a knife, eyes icy, and slashes down. At that razor-thin moment, Yemo vanishes and reappears right beside him. One punch to the wrist sends the knife flying. In one smooth motion, he grabs Li Qiang's head. Before the man can react, Yemo smashes him hard into the wall. The brutal force cracks the wall. When dust settles, Li Qiang lies unconscious and bleeding, leaving everyone stunned. Wang Ying stands frozen, unable to believe this is the Yemo she knew. Zhou Feng's crew panics, stammering like broken radios. Yemo steps forward, eyesight and suffocatingly calm, asking one chilling question: who sent you? Elsewhere, Yang Chengsu gets an urgent alert. Scarface's gang has moved. He tenses instantly and demands details. Report says 30 thugs are behind West Street, surrounding a young man and holding a girl hostage. Chengsu swerves hard, calls for backup, but tells him not to inform Wang Lei yet. He repeatedly warns his team not to rush, and the suspects are dangerous drug criminals. Before more intel arrives, the radio crackles. The situation has completely flipped. The young man alone has wiped out the entire gang. Bodies are strewn everywhere. In the alley, Yemo grips Zhou Feng's head with one hand, eyes cold as starlight. Zhou Feng trembles, unable to believe this monster is the Ye family's useless trash. Ignoring the panic, Yemo coldly asks, did the intel come from the Ning family or the Ye family? He gives him 3 seconds to answer. Right then, Chengsu rushes in, shouting for him to stop before things spiral beyond control. Yemo glances over, weighing his option. He finally lets go, knowing he's not strong enough to fight the national system head-on yet. Zhou Feng survives, gasping like he just respawned. Chengsu surveys the fallen criminals in disbelief. One guy did all this. Unreal. He steps forward and identifies himself. Wang Ying timidly pops out from behind to greet them. Li Wen appears, confirming the entire incident has been recorded. That makes Yemo wary. The government's surveillance net is no joke. Chengsu reassures him that Hell just need to give a statement, nothing unrelated. Just as tension eases, a cold voice cuts in from behind. Wang Lei arrives, declaring that without him the suspect would walked free. He immediately orders an arrest without hesitation, accusing Yemo of assault and public disturbance while Wang Ying fiercely objects. Wang Lei shamelessly twists the story, painting the criminals as ordinary citizens. Chengsu angrily grabs his collar, only to be threatened with higher authority. Li Wen quickly steps in as the standoff hits boiling point. Suddenly, Yemo speaks up and agrees to go with them, shocking everyone. Has already figured it out. The mastermind prepared this trap carefully. If he doesn't seize this chance for clues, future trouble will be worse. Wang Lei looks pleased. But when Yemo hints it's just someone else's lapdog, Wang Lei's face darkens. He dodges the jab and orders the escort. As they pass, Yemo secretly plucks a button off Wang Lei's coat unnoticed. He then coldly warns, next time it won't end so mildly. The threat makes Wang Lei flinch, though he forces a tough aid. The scene cuts to a freezing cell where a prisoner sits silently facing the wall. The warden knocks on the door. He says the awaited person has arrived and relays orders from above: handle it cleanly. The prisoner rises slowly, vicious eyes flashing as he shuts his book and accepts the mission. Yemo is escorted deep inside. A steel door head creaks open dryly. The 2 officers stop outside, letting him enter alone before the door slams shut, sealing the icy chamber. Yemo remains eerily calm, already guessing this is a prearranged private execution. Instead of fear, he feels a spark of interest. His gaze locks onto the man waiting inside. Chu Quan speaks in a low, arrogant tone, claiming he hasn't dealt with ordinary people in years. In his eyes, Yemo is pathetically weak, but today is tasked with sending him to the afterlife. So Yemo shouldn't struggle pointlessly. Yemo merely frowns, another pawn on the board. Yet the moment he entered, he sensed a faint tingling in the air. Now his nearly certain spiritual energy radiates from Chu Quan. This opponent isn't normal. Chu Quan charges with an overwhelming build and killing intent. In a blink, Yemo vanishes, dodging so effortlessly it shocks him. Before Chu Quan reacts, a punch slams his face as Yemo coldly says, you got one thing wrong. In front of me, you're the weak one, and the force blasts Chu Quan backward. Refusing to yield, Chu Quan grabs Yemo's leg. He smashes him into the ground and flings him like trash, thinking he's gained the upper hand until Yemo flips midair and lands lightly. Chu Quan grows serious, admitting he underestimated him. But before he finishes speaking, Yemo rushes in like a phantom. Too fast for the naked eye, a barrage of punches sends Chu Quan flying. His body slams into the wall, leaving a deep crater. Blood spills from his mouth. Before he recovers, Yemo appears above him. A thunderous kick crashes down. The ground trembles, dust and rubble exploding everywhere. Chu Quan staggers out from the debris. Gritting his teeth, he braces and charges again. Yet every strike is effortlessly dodged. A straight punch to the abdomen makes him cough blood in agony. His body skids across the floor, strength nearly gone. Terror floods his eyes, he can't believe this is happening. But Yemo gives him zero chance, appearing before him in an instant. He delivers the finishing blow, smashing Chu Quan's head into the ground and shattering the tiles. Completely suppressed, Chu Quan lies there gasping, tears and snot mixing. Yemo stands above him, killing aura suffocating the room, coldly demanding who sent you. His eyes sharpen further. Where did the spiritual energy on you come from? Elsewhere, Wang Lei grumbles over the phone, irritated. Just what kind of monster did you make me deal with this time? The voice on the other end scoffs. What monster? Just a discarded cripple tossed by the Ye family. Wang Lei freezes, recalling Yimo's brutality. The caller smugly assures him the Luxi underworld enforcer can handle it and promises to recommend him to Song Gongzi for a sweet promotion. Wang Lei's face instantly softens, greed swirling as he prays the promise sticks. Back in the cell, Yemo lounges calmly while the battered Chuquan still refuses to talk. Impressive backbone. Chuquan sighs, admitting someone like Yemo is far beyond what their circle can touch. That catches Yemo's attention. Are there other cultivators here? Chuquan recounts that years ago in Luxi, he met a strange old monk who toppled a tree with a casual wave. Seeing fate between them, the monk gave him a bottle of divine water. He used it as instructed, and his body gradually surpassed normal human limits. Yemo immediately realizes the divine water is spiritual liquid, formed only where spiritual energy is dense. Perhaps Luxi even has a spirit spring, a treasure-level resource in Luoyu continent terms. Returning to the present, Yemo asks why someone beyond mortals still obeys others. Chuquan lowers his head, voice choking. His daughter has ALS, and the medical costs are crushing. The spiritual liquid can't cure her, it only prolongs her suffering. He nearly breaks down, punching the ground in despair. Yemo reflects this illness isn't incurable to him, and he offers, I can save your daughter. Chuquan stares, unable to believe his ears. Yemo explains that spiritual liquid harms ordinary people, but with special methods it can be harnessed. For example, talisman healing. He activates one. A green glow envelopes Chuquan's body, his wounds visibly close, leaving him speechless in shock. Yemo coldly states the condition: want your daughter saved. Name the mastermind, otherwise you die here. Faced with that choice, Chuquan bitterly reveals the name Zheng Wenqiao. Meanwhile, in a luxurious estate, Zheng Wenqiao answers a call. Sneering at Wang Lei's fear, he keeps a fake smile in his lavish room, cruelty simmering beneath. Beside him, a bound, battered woman. He tortures her viciously for amusement. A servant reports that Song Xiao asked about Yemo's situation. Wiping blood from his hands, Zheng Wenqiao coldly assures that the target will end up a corpse. Back in the cell, Chuquan hands Yemo a cross containing spiritual liquid as repayment. Yemo accepts it, eyes flashing. Its highly concentrated spiritual liquid. With it, he can nourish silver heart grass, force it to seed, refine condensing Q pills, and break into the second Q condensation stage. Yemo pockets it and softly thanks him. Chuquan warns that Zheng Wenqiao won't let this slide. Those targeted by him rarely end well. Yemo turns away, voice calm and icy. Just remember our deal. As for Zheng Wenqiao, if he doesn't come to me, it'll go to him. A new morning at Ningkai University, peaceful vibes shattered by a supercar rolling in and stealing every stare. The door opens, revealing long, elegant legs stepping out in style. Jingwen removes her sunglasses, studying a file of photos. She can't believe the talisman-selling teen is the Ye family's discarded son and her own younger brother. Frowning, she decides to visit Uncle Wang's office to find out which class Yemo is in. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, Wang Yahua slams the desk in frustration but refuses to intervene, fearing fallout. Wang Ying nearly cries, unable to accept that Yemo was arrested for saving her while the school stays silent. Teacher Yun Shui's comfort falls flat. Just then, the door bursts open. Jingwen appears, freezing when she hears Yemo's name, her voice trembling as she asks again in disbelief. At the police bureau, Yang Chengsu furiously confronts Wang Lai for releasing drug dealers and framing Yemo instead. Wang Li calmly twirls his pen, coldly saying, no evidence, no accusations against your superior. Tension peaks when the office door is suddenly shoved open. Wang Ying and Jingwen storm in. Wang Ying demands Yemo's release, while Jingwen coolly challenges Wang Lai, let's see what you can do to me. Corner Wang Lai immediately calls for officers. He orders them all arrested as accomplices. He even demands Chengsu's suspension. The room suffocates under blatant abuse of power. Yet Jingwen stays composed, placing her phone down and calmly asking, does the bureau chief know about this? Before Wang Lai can sneer, a cold voice from the phone confirms everything. His face drains of color as an on-the-spot suspension order and serious charges are announced. Trembling, he realizes he's offended the wrong person and stammers for her identity. Jingwen casually replies she represents the Jing family of Ninghai. The name drops like a trapdoor beneath him. Amid outside chaos, Yemo remains calm in his cell, idly spinning the spiritual liquid cross and plotting his next cultivation step. Suddenly he hears movement outside. Someone approaches. The cell door slowly opens. Light floods in, and seeing who stands there makes Yemo's eyes subtly shift. Jingwen and Wang Ying walk in with sly smiles, greeting Yemo like it's been ages. Elsewhere, Zheng Wenqiao smashes a glass in rage, shards flying as he curses useless idiots. One got beaten half dead, another landed in utterly incompetent, fueling his fury. If Song Didao isn't satisfied, Zheng Wenqiao knows his own neck is on the line. Shuo Yuan him asks what's next. Zheng Wenqiao clenches fists, orders elites to beat Yemo to near death, leave just enough for him to finish personally. He wants Song Didao to see his sincerity by torturing Yemo himself. Meanwhile, Yemo's room flashes gold as the alchemy furnace hums. A perfect Q-gathering pill forms. He wastes no time and swallows it. Spiritual power erupts, pushing him to innate second layer. His aura surges, even his reflexes now outpace normal human. Bullets would struggle to hit him, but his out of spirit liquid and needs a new source, maybe Luxi Town's spirit spring. Problem too risky and expensive for now. While thinking, a TV ad grabs him, an injection promising eternal youth at a bargain price. Yemo chuckles, women everywhere chase youth, sounds like a business opportunity. Flashback, dining with Jingwen, he learns she's a Ninghai counselor's daughter. She invites him to her mother's recovery party. Held atop Suyun building, a glittering rooftop packed with elite guests and endless chatter. Yemo stands calmly, pillbox in hand. This crowd is his perfect marketplace. His gaze lands on a group, all's an older woman. Their talk drips with sarcasm about age, marriage, and defective unmarried women. The harsh words soar the mood. Yemo steps in coldly, calling out their insults as crude and laughable. The group freezes. Ziwen snaps and tries to call security. Jingwen quickly intervenes, introducing Yemo as her mother's savior. Jurong grabs Yemo's hand, deeply grateful. Still, some him as a scammer. Yemo doesn't argue, calmly claiming his partnering with President Su. That line sparks was unbothered. He reveals a glowing white spirit pill, saying the answer to eternal youth lies here. The crowd doubts and mocks, but Yemo doesn't bother explaining. He approaches Yalan, opens the box with a soft glow, and invites her to try it. Yalan stares at the pill, torn between fear and awe, while the crowd holds its breath. No one knows this moment is about to change everything. Ziwen points at Yemo, yelling it's a lie, who knows if it's poison. Yalan hesitates, airing if the pill is even edible. Jingwen smiles confidently, backing Yemo and even offering to test it herself. Jurong also volunteers, trusting the one who saved her. The crowd buzzes, unable to believe such a miracle drug exists. Yemo leans in and whispers, doesn't she want to feel her prime again? The words hit hard, memories of mockery and fading beauty darken her expression. Fine, you did. Yalan closes her eyes and swallows the pill. The crowd freezes. Yuan covers her mouth, shocked she actually did it. At first nothing happens. Ziwen sneers calm. Seconds later Yalan's face begins to change. Her skin tightens, glows, eyes brighten, hair regains shine. Someone shouts in shock. A mirror arrives, she trembles, her younger self staring back. The hall erupts. Yuan and Ziwen stand speechless. A woman rushes to Yemo asking the price. He calmly says 20,000 per pill, only 10 tonight. Chaos erupts, bids jump to 30k, 50k, turning the scene into madness. Amid chaos, Ziwen grows scheming, eyeing the tech behind the pills. He plans to stall Yemo, waiting for money flows to return and seize everything. Other bidding, some offer 200k for agency rights. Others push to 1 million. Tension thickens with greed and strategy. Ziwen pretends friendly, offering 1.5 million plus profit sharing to Yemo. Before he can act, Jingwen coldly exposes his debts and schemes. Millions lost, scams revealed, his secrets explode in public. With no escape, Ziwen kneels begging, but no one sides with him now. Jurong turns away in disappointment. Yalan decisively. Jingwen gives him a choice: lifelong debt or sell the company dirt cheap. The hall fills with mocking laughter. After it all, Jingwen gently tells Yemo there are many powerful partners here. She offers to help him choose collaborators. Yemo calmly replies she's the only one he trusts. The night ends under dazzling lights. On the ride back, they exchange a few simple words. Jingwen calls them friends. Yemo stays quiet, but something inside him shifts. He gets out and walks home through the calm night. For once, he feels this life isn't so bad. But as he opens the door, light spills across the floor, revealing a pool of blood and the yellow dog stabbed in the belly. Yemo freezes, killing intent exploding in his eyes. Something's very wrong. Wu Bei appears in full gear, reporting by phone that Yemo is back with a girl, likely his lover. The voice on the other end coldly orders both captured, a perfect gift for Zheng Xiao. The door slowly creaks open, light creeping in. It fully exposes the chilling bloodstain, and the gift appears: a small dog stabbed and barely breathing. Yemo rushes over instantly. He kneels to check, still alive, a healing talisman might save it. Suddenly danger drops from the ceiling. A blade thrusts straight at his shoulder. In a blink, Yemo vanishes from the spot. Before the attacker understands, a kick slams into his face. Holding the dog tight, Yemo counterattacks, kicking Su Lin squarely. The noise sends the henchmen outside flooding in. Yemo gently sets the dog down, telling it to leave. Then he turns to face the crowd alone. Eyes icy, voice colder: all at once or line up to die. They roar and charge. The leader's strike misses cleanly. A straight punch drops him instantly. The rest hesitate but keep attacking. Yemo moves like a shadow. He dodges with ease and snaps one thug's knife arm in a blink. Before the man reacts, his throat is seized. Lifted off the ground, he drops lifeless. The second wave cornered, pulls guns. They switch to shooting limbs. Yet through the hail of bullets, Yemo glides untouched. His icy voice echoes: hell, use their bones to smash their teeth until they talk. Elsewhere, the mood turns twisted, a table laid with tools. Wenqiao grips a dining knife, eyes warped with madness. He thought she was small prey, not Su Jingwen, the prized heiress of Ning'ai. The phone suddenly rings. Wenqiao answers and hears the chilling news: his men are all dead. Yemo not only isn't afraid but laughs wildly, letting Wenqiao hear Jingwen's voice. Wenqiao sneers that this merchandise is priceless. Yemo's face darkens instantly. In a low voice, he demands Jingwen's release, settle this between them. Wenqiao finds it amusing and gives him 40 minutes. After that, the city will watch Jingwen turned into a puzzle artwork. Find the place yourself, he says, then hangs up. Yemo crushes the phone in silence, eyes freezing cold. Zheng Wenqiao, I'm coming. Back to Zheng Wenqiao, is ready to start his fun, even planning a few souvenir photos. He just removes the tape from Jingwen's mouth when frantic knocking erupts. The guards report the warehouse fire system has been triggered. Cursing about possible inspectors, Zheng Wenqiao goes to check, leaving men behind. Chaos follows. One thug gets kicked into the door, smashing it down. Inside, Jingwen, tied to the bed, weakly opens her eyes and trembles out one name: Yemo. An hour earlier, Juquan grumbles while delivering a shady referral note, unable to reach Yemo by phone. Muttering curses, he checks the address: 432 Incheng Road. Looking up, he realizes it's Yemo's house. Before he acts, a strange nearby voice makes him freeze. Eavesdropping, he learns Zheng Wenqiao set a trap, 6 assassins inside waiting for Yemo. They even kidnapped his girlfriend. Juquan instantly senses disaster. The moment he sees a suspicious car leave, he hesitates no more. He jumps into his car to tail them, planning to warn Yemo. The car stops at a large village. Juquan hides to observe, and finally Yemo picks up the phone. Yemo calmly asks, is it 32 Bin High Street? Juquan is stunned, he knows. On the other end, Yemo has just finished off another assassin. The last one lies on the ground, begging for death. In a cold, clear tone, Yemo asks Juquan to save Jingwen and leave first. As for Zheng Wenqiao, he'll handle him personally. Back at the village, Zheng Wenqiao returns furious about the fire alarm, orders guards, then leaves again. Seizing the chance, Juquan sneaks inside. 2 guards at the door spot him mid-complaint. Juquan says nothing. His aura flares as he advances, terrifying them. He smiles faintly, warning it might hurt a little. Then strikes like lightning. One man is beaten until he coughs blood. Without pause, Juquan charges into the room. Seeing Jingwen tied up, calling Yemo's name, he sighs. Yemo owes him big this time. he hoists her onto his shoulder and retreats. Sprinting toward the back exit, he calculates their escape. Just as freedom seems close, a gunshot rings out, a bullet pierces his thigh, and he collapses. Through the pain, he shields Jingwen's head from harm. Blood pours as she remains unconscious. Behind him, Zheng Wenqiao steps out with a gun, smirking proudly while subordinates flatter him. Juquan's heart sinks. Zheng Wenqiao returned too fast. Zheng Wenqiao approaches mockingly, surprised Juquan dared show up. Injured, Juquan forces himself up, calmly greeting him like an old acquaintance. That only amuses Zheng Wenqiao more. He laughs cruelly. He declares today a perfect day to torture them both. Juquan stays unfazed, coldly telling him to try if he wants his life. At that moment, Imo arrives outside the villa. The guards spot him and raise their weapons. They are answered only by a crushing wave of killing intent. One thug barely finishes threatening, before Yemo's punch sends him flying. The rest drop one by one in just a few moves. Without slowing, Yemo storms the entrance, kicking aside obstacles. Staring at the villa, he growls, "Zheng Wenqiao, I'm here." Inside, Juquan is gravely wounded, blood spilling as his breath falters. Surrounded, he grits his teeth, too many to fight. Regret creeps in, helping Yemo might cost him his life. Zheng Wenqiao laughs wickedly, vowing to drag Juquan's family to hell too. Slowly, piece by. Suddenly, the back door explodes open with a thunderous crash. Zheng Wenqiao jolts in shock. Through the dust, a figure steps in calmly. Yemo appears. "I sighed him here to send you to hell." Juquan nearly sighs in relief, back up at last. Yemo hands him a healing talisman, tells him to use it like before, then turns to the enemies. Panicked, Zheng Wenqiao orders Yemo killed. Gunfire erupts like a storm. But Yemo moves almost invisibly. An 8-second layer plus footwork makes bullets useless. In breaths, guards are blasted away, some falling before reacting. Zheng Wenqiao pales, retreating with only escape on his mind. He dashes toward the panic room, frantically urging the door to open, but in terror keeps entering the wrong code. A flying henchman slams into the door behind him. Spinning around, Zheng Wenqiao tries to bluff, claiming a power Yemo can't touch, backs him. He reveals Song Jia, specifically Song Xiaowen, wants Yemo dead over rumors involving Ning Jia's heiress amid a planned alliance marriage. Hearing this, Yemo frowns, recalling the name Ning Jingsu. A woman has never met, yet is dragged into this scheme. Clearly someone's pulling strings. Zheng Wenqiao begs desperately, saying he's still useful and warning Song Xiaowen is also a cultivator of formidable strength. Yemo answers only with a cold smile. Then a devastating punch crashes down. Zheng Wenqiao is blasted straight into the door. The impact shatters it instantly. Inside lies a horrifying sight, rows of bound girls, bodies bruised and battered. Yemo stood frozen for seconds, eyes icing over as his temper finally clocked in. Without a word, he sliced through every chain, freeing them like it was light yard work, then casually tossed a knife onto the floor. Turning away, he said calmly yet murderously, "Hands, life is yours, knife included." Zheng Wenqiao lay motionless, begging that Hand still had money and value, but no one was buying it. One girl picked up the knife, eyes hollow and cold, saying she wanted nothing but to carve Han a one-way ticket to hell. The room instantly drowned in savage revenge vibes. Outside, Yemo laid Su Jingwen on the sofa and began treating her. Nearby, Tone Shu was told to leave since the police were coming. He asked why Yemo wasn't going too, but Yemo gently replied he'd stay and wait for someone to pick her up. When Tone Shu asked about the next move, Yemo's eyes sharpened as he said firmly, "Investigate Song Xiaowen first, then end him permanently." An hour later, in a small room, Yemo was doing on-arm push-ups, sweat pouring like rain. Though Zheng Wenqiao was handled, Song Xiaowen still lingered like a thorn in his mind, and Yemo swore to find him and finish the job. Beside him, a small dog looked up at its master with adorably fierce concern. Yemo stood, wiped his sweat, and headed to the door, wondering who on earth wanted him now. The door opened to someone bowing and greeting, "Young Master Ye," saying President Su had sent a gift and that he could depart anytime once ready. Yemo took it, eyes flickering with suspicion, then shut the door before fully processing the situation, dialing Su Jingwen as he walked to demand answers. On the other end, she cheerfully confirmed it was an invitation to the Chu family banquet, and the suit was to match the vibe. Still skeptical, Yemo asked if his attendance was really necessary. So Jingwen explained the Chu family controlled Ninghai's largest pharmaceutical group, perfect for launching the beauty-preserving pill, and added his ex-fiancée would be there too. Yemo paused, utterly confused about which ex-fiancée she meant, until Su Jingwen bluntly named Ning Jinx. At the banquet, the atmosphere buzzed with high society noise, as someone introduced two big shots chatting, Pierce of S Group and Chu Guand, chairman of Jianhe Group, both heavyweight figures in Ninghai's business world. Yemo crossed his arms, wondering if such titans truly cared about a local clan like the Chu family. So Jingwen swirled her wine and murmured that ties to the Ning family alone were enough to make these sharks circle, especially since the Ning family's heiress would appear in person tonight. Right then, the grand doors swung open and every gaze snapped to the entrance. The Chu patriarch walked in with a young woman, Ning Jingsu herself. A peculiar aura radiated from her, making Yemo subtly jolt. Looking closer, he immediately recognized its spiritual energy, and she wasn't hiding it at all, as if utterly confident in her own power. This made Yemo suspect that elite families probably hoarded their own secret cultivation manuals. He also realized Ning Jingsu might be the perfect clue to dig into Song Xiaowen. So Jingwen politely stepped forward, wished Chuna good health, and presented the prepared gift. When they heard it was the market-raging beauty-preserving pill, the crowd gasped. Its value was practically priceless now. Chuna held the pill, eyes wide in shock, even judging it nearly a spirit pill, proof the alchemist was absurdly skilled. When Su Jingwen revealed the maker was Yemo, both she and Ning Jingsu visibly stiffened. Chune grew emotional, marveling that the once-a-dismissed boy could craft such pills and sighing that the Ye family had misjudged him. Ning Jingsu, however, stayed icy, claiming such tricks meant little in noble clans where cultivation level ruled all. Hearing that, Yemo felt certain these clans truly had their own rough but real cultivation paths. Asked about his master, he hesitated, a woman's silhouette flashing through his mind, then brushed it off vaguely. Just as he was about to ask about the Song family, a voice cut in. A young man entered with bodyguards, casually wishing Chuna happy birthday. instantly drawing all eyes his way. Whispers spread this was the young master of the Song family. Yemo's gaze shifted at once, suspicion quietly igniting. The man smiled and chatted warmly with Ning Jingsu, then looked at Su Jingwen with open interest. After introductions, he offered a hand, polite yet sharp, calling himself Song Shaoan. Someone eagerly shook it, praising the young master Song's reputation. Song Shaoan looked at Yemo as if they'd never met. Yemo frowned, unsure if it was genuine or an act, and decided to test him. During the handshake, Yemo secretly sent a thread of spiritual energy through, quietly probing. Normally, a cultivator's meridians can't fully hide their spiritual energy. But the result stunned him. Nothing. Song Shaoan's meridians were empty, no sign of cultivation. Yemo wavered. Had Zheng Wenqiao's intel been wrong? Song Shaoan withdrew his hand with a smooth smile and resumed chatting with Ning Jingsu like nothing happened. The more Yemo observed the stranger, it felt not only no spiritual energy but not even a flicker of killing intent at his name. Everything was too normal, suspiciously normal. The banquet carried on in lively splendor. After dinner, the butler announced the dance session, and couples flowed onto the floor, hands entwined to the music. In the restroom, Yemo stared at his reflection, mind tangled. If Song Shaoan wasn't a cultivator, why target him, or was this all a smokescreen? Outside, Su Jingwen also sensed something was off with Yemo. While Su Jingwen was lost in thought, a man invited her to dance only to be flatly rejected. The crowd whispered she'd never taken initiative with any man. Even top-tier young masters had been turned down plenty, yet jaws dropped when Su Jingwen walked straight to Yemo and personally invited him to dance. The atmosphere turned bizarre. No one trusted their own eyes. Meanwhile, Song Shaoan had already left the banquet. He stepped into a limo and ordered his guards to clear the area, no one allowed near. The doors shut and the car rolled off slowly, leaving rumors behind that his former guards either turned strange or vanished like they'd been replaced. Inside the limo, the air suddenly tightened, a sharp slap, and the impersonator clutched his face, bowing in apology. The reply was icy enough to freeze blood, as the other man twisted a ring, releasing spiritual energy. His face shifted. Truth revealed. The banquet Song Shaoan was a fake, while the real Song Shaoan stood here disguised as a bodyguard. His gaze was terrifyingly cold. He warned the double was only useful while obedient otherwise. Doom awaited, finally unveiling the true Song Shaoan, a mastermind hiding beneath perfection. Soon, the car door swung open and a decisive foot stepped out. The real Song Shaoan slammed it shut. The guards bowed in unison. He pointed at two men to follow, voice brief but dripping authority. From afar, Liao Yi eyed the limo, more convinced than ever. Each time, only one man exited, and what happened inside remained a mystery. In truth, the impersonator was now bound, mouth taped, tossed into a corner of the car, eyes blazing with helpless hatred. Back at the banquet, piano and violin intertwined in elegant harmony. Song Shaoan re-entered, apologizing for urgent matters, but froze at the sight before him. On the dance floor, Su Jingwen and Yemo moved in smooth sync, stunning the crowd who could believe the icy heiress chose a stranger. Su Jingwen's cheeks flushed with the rhythm, while Yemo, startled, tried his best to keep cool and keep up. As the music ended, he pulled her in for a crisp finale that drew applause. Su Jingwen smiled and praised him, while Yemo could only chuckle awkwardly, silently thanking his past self for learning a few basic steps. Watching outside, Chuna looked surprised, but Ning Jingsu coolly remarked that dancing was trivial, mere mortal amusement. Just then, Song Shaoan cut in, curious about Yemo's identity. Asked if he truly didn't know him, he smiled and denied it, acting like it was their first meeting. Chuna did bother circling the point, bluntly stating that with the Song family's power, investigating Yemo should have been effortless. She even shielded Yemo implicitly, vowing this matter wouldn't just blow over. Song Shaoan's face darkened for a split second, annoyed but outwardly serene. The whispers grew. Someone linked Yemo's name to his old engagement with Ning Jingsu. Wild theories bloomed. He came to rekindle flames or claw back into elite society. The gossip thickened the air with tension. Ning Jingsu suddenly set her glass down hard, made an excuse and left under puzzled stares. Soon she returned to Yemo, cool and proud, bluntly telling him to drop any idea of approaching her, since clan politics were far beyond his imagination. Yemo just looked confused. He hadn't been imagining anything at all. Ning Jingsu advised him to focus on alchemy for a stable life, then turned to leave. Only then did Yemo speak, stopping her cold forget clans. Her spiritual energy was unstable, clearly leaking from loss of control. She spun back, eyes wide in shock. Yemo grew serious. Her cultivation method absorbed spiritual energy fast but was dangerously reckless. Keep going and her body would collapse, hitting the exact problem haunting her. In the vast hall, they faced each other as if time slowed. Ning Jingsu stared, doubting how a normal man knew what even clans struggled with. Yemo swirled his wine calmly. He not only knew, he could fix it. His confidence bred suspicion. She coldly asked why she should believe him. Yemo smirked, no explanation, just that the desperate one wasn't him. Her time was running out, consider this a deal. In return, she must help him deliver a gift to Song Shaoan. From afar, people gossiped at the sight of them talking. Song Shaoan watched with clenched teeth, eyes icing over. He noticed everything. The banquet soon ended and guests filed out. As Su Jingwen linked arms with Yemo to leave, Chuna called them back. She wanted to discuss the beauty-preserving pill, so the three strolled and talked. Chuna bluntly mentioned Yemo and Ning Jingsu were alike, both sacrificed pawns after Jingsu's parents died. Ning family's head controlled all her freedom. Even marriage backed by hidden clan forces promising a path to cultivation still meant chains unless she truly transcended. So Jingwen was utterly lost. Yemo, however, fell silent. He understood transcendence meant surpassing mortal limits. Chuna added that in her haste, Ning Jingsu chose a forbidden cultivation method, trading lifespan for power, hence her body's steady decline. She had tried to heal her before but failed. Just like Su Jingwen's mother's condition seemingly unsolvable, except Yemo had solved it, and even refined the beauty-preserving pill with principles surpassing master she once knew, giving her real hope. So Jingwen was stunned. Even Chuna, president of the Traditional Medicine Association, admitted she wasn't Yemo's equal, making Su Jingwen question who he truly was. Chu Na then proposed cooperation, offering the Chu family's backing to develop the beauty-preserving pill. So Jingwen beamed Chu support meant explosive success. Chu Na teasingly scolded her, then softly asked Yemo to save Ning Jingxiu if a chance arose. Back then, Jingxiu had opposed the broken engagement but could defy her clan. Yemo only listened in silence. Right then, Song Shaoan appeared behind them. He politely bade Chu Na farewell, then acted friendly toward Yemo, saying he looked forward to their next meeting. Yemo smiled back, implying it wouldn't be far off. They shook hands, pleasant smiles, hidden force clashing. In that instant of conk, Yemo sensed real spiritual energy within Song Shaoan, so earlier was pure misdirection. Song Shaoan left and entered his car, receiving a gift from Ning Jingxiu. Inside was just a paper butterfly, puzzling him before he casually tossed it to a subordinate. Yet he calculated inwardly Zheng Wenqiu failed time to act personally. Thinking of Yemo, killing intense surged, he activated his ring, spiritual energy spreading as his form shifted, transforming into Yemo himself. The subordinate trembled, barely daring to breathe. Meanwhile, the paper butterfly glowed faintly like a silent signal. Night fell atop a skyscraper. Yemo stood overlooking the blazing city. A blue butterfly landed lightly on his hand. His eyes chilled as he murmured, "Song Shaoan, I said we'd meet soon," everything unfolding as he planned. In the silent late night, the blue butterfly quietly returned to his hand. Yemo narrowed his eyes, following the tracking talisman's guidance. The target fixed on a towering building ahead. Without hesitation, he slipped his hands into his pockets and leapt straight down from the rooftop, striking tonight. Elsewhere inside the building, Chunai inspected rare spiritual herbs with care, just days from harvest for the upcoming cultivation assembly. Suddenly, she sensed an alien aura intruding and grew alert. A cold voice echoed, recalling her past genius status, saying though injured and weakened, her spiritual perception remained sharp. Chuna realized at once they were cultivators, and more than one. Another voice chimed in, falsely compassionate yet oppressive, suggesting they attack together to be safe. Cornered by two cultivators at once, Chuna found herself with almost no escape. Even so, Chuna kept her cool and politely asked what on earth they wanted. The reply, not a polite invitation she clearly couldn't refuse. Thula even suggested crippling her first and hauling her off. How considerate. Refusing to play along, Chuna struck back with a thick cloud of poisonous gas. The two sensed the toxin fast, but Chuna had already set a bone barrier trap to stall them. She tried to retreat, only to be blocked by a massive figure descending from above. The crushing pressure made her tremble as she realized it was a Dharma projection, the kind only top-tier monsters can summon. A man stepped out, calmly claiming to be from Yin Men, the very force that destroyed Baitao Men years ago. Before Chuna could recover, she froze at the sight of his face. It was Yemo, but those eyes were alolo duan suit they're different. He sneered and asked why she looked so shocked. Elsewhere in the building, some guards changed shifts and chatted about late-night snacks, blissfully unaware of the chaos. Once they left, the real Yemo stepped out from behind a wall. Following a blue butterfly, he stopped before a large door. Then frowned. Something was off. The target wasn't inside. In a nearby room, a man slurped instant noodles in front of the TV. His face twisted with resentment. He was Lin Lin, the fake Song Shaoan. Forced memories and constant threats had nearly driven him insane. He hated this fake identity and even more, living as someone else's shadow. In rage, he opened a box and a paper butterfly shot out, scaring him senseless. At that exact moment, Yemo appeared behind him like a ghost. Lin Lin stumbled back and crashed hard onto the floor. Facing Yemo's icy stare, he stammered and claimed to be Song Shaoan to bluff him. Yemo saw through it instantly and growled, "You're not him, so where's the real Song Shaoan?" In a dark alley, Mo Yang and his crew waited confidently, telling Zhenin over the phone that beating up a student was easy money. Han Kuo had mapped Yemo's route. They'd break his limbs and ship him to Song Shao just as a thug yelled that the target had arrived. At the alley entrance, Yemo walked in calmly, but inwardly he was pondering whether this world truly had spiritual Kai. If so, someone might have reached a terrifying realm. His thoughts spiraled from spiritual Kwai to artifacts to cultivation. All signs pointed to one chilling guess: Song family might control a spirit spring. His thoughts snapped back as the gang blocked him. Mo Yang sneered that someone had paid for his legs. The offer was simple: cripple himself, or let them do it. Yemo said nothing, only glanced at them. That icy look made Mo Yang flinch for a split second, but pride won. He barked the attack order. His lackeys charged forward, weapons raised and brains optional. In a blink, everything collapsed. Yemo moved like a shadow, striking clean and ruthless. Each hit dropped a man flat. In mere breaths, the whole crew was kissing the pavement, no one left standing. Mo Yang froze stiff, pale as a ghost, unable to process the massacre. Meanwhile, Yemo calmly hauled one thun, coldly demanded the mastermind's name. The next morning at Chu residence, the mood flipped tense, heavy with battle scars still everywhere. Ning Jing stood frozen as she listened to the report. Surveillance cameras had captured part of the incident. 3 intruders and one had Yemo's face. Without hesitation, Roan Shu traced the lead, her car stopping at a villa. The phone screen showed 432. Her eyes turned icy. She was nearly certain Yemo was behind this. Parking outside Villa 432, she felt sure this was Yemo's place, and if he'd touched her family, there'd be hell to pay. A servant hurried out, politely asking if she was here for young Master Ye. That only deepened Roan Shu's suspicion, since when did Yemo have staff? She coldly ordered to be led inside, convinced the disappearance was his doing. Inside, she scanned carefully, plenty of people, but all ordinary, no cultivation aura, which only puzzled her more. They treated Yemo with unmistakable respect. Just then, Jingshu called out, and Yemo turned, mildly surprised to see her. She wasted no time, demanding he release the captive, seeing him as just a normal guy who'd better cooperate. Yemo, however, looked genuinely confused. But when she mentioned abducting the Chu family head, his eyes darkened instantly. Jingshu said little and showed the proof: the surveillance footage. At dawn, a man with Yemo's exact face appeared at the scene. Yemo understood at once it was a setup, using his face to ignite conflict. As for the mastermind, he had a solid guess. Jingshu did overthink it. She pressed harder, ready to fight if needed. Yet Yemo stayed calm, provided a different timeline, and claimed witnesses to prove he wasn't there. Mo Yang stepped out, revealing call logs with Song Shaoan, proving Ye Mo was with them that night and that Song Shaoan arranged it all. This made Jingshu waver, though she still questioned the face in the footage. That's when Ye Mo played his ace another video of Lan Lin confessing everything. He was merely a stand-in who impersonated Song Shaoan when required. More crucially, the ring on Song Shaoan's finger could alter one's appearance. Hearing this, Jingshu was shaken. Spiritual ki was absurdly rare, yet Song Shaoan had it. The puzzle clicked. They framed Ye Mo for kidnapping Chuna, then tried to kill him clean, cruel, and clever. Jingshu spun to confront Song Shaoan, but Ye Mo stopped her. Acting now would only spook him, and her sister would pay. Jing, furious, refused to just sit and wait. Ye Mo's eyes turned razor cold. If it's a perfect trap, don't break it, hijack it, and return the favor. A hand suddenly clamped a throat, crushing the scream midair. A second later, the victim slammed down like a sack, spiritual kli drained dry. Song Shaoan stood amid swirling ki, sneering that ordinary life force tasted bland. Tu Lin stepped up, low-voiced. Normal vitality could sustain his cultivation method. Song Shaoan smirked and asked about the progress. Tu Lin reported that by absorbing Bai Tao Men's leftover life force, he'd stepped onto the immortal path and could even wield a Dharma projection. The final ingredient awaited devouring. Song Shaoan clenched his fist, greedily break through the first realm, and he'd claim a seat in the Song Elders' Council. Tu Lin bowed in thanks, loyalty practically dripping. Just then, Tu Lu arrived with news Ye Mo had been captured. How to handle him. Song Shaoan laughed darkly. Bring him to the Gu Temple and keep him alive. He'd personally make Ye Mo wish for death before handing him to Ning Jingshu. Scene shift to Gu Temple. Guards lounge carelessly. Zhang Sheng paced anxiously while Shi Lui looked annoyed. Soon Song Shaoan appeared and everyone bowed at once. His orders stunned them. Ditch all communication devices and leave with him immediately. Though uneasy, Zhang Sheng obeyed. He couldn't shake the feeling something was off, especially being called by name like that. The vehicle sped away into the night. Meanwhile, Ye Mo was escorted into the courtyard. Song Shaoan stepped out, clapping mockingly, welcoming Mr. Ye. He didn't forget to mention the banquet night when he was humiliated. Asked why, Song Shaoan didn't hide it. It was all because Ye Mo was Ning Jingshu's fiancé. To him, that was an unforgivable stain. Such a perfect woman could only belong to him. He unleashed spiritual power, summoning ghostly shadows. Devar Chuna's life force, and had officially entered the immortal realm, becoming a god in mortal eyes. Strangely, he didn't kill Ye Mo yet. He had plans for him. He casually revealed that all the kidnapping video was left on purpose, so every blame would fall on Ye Mo. Just as Song Shaoan smugly wrapped up, Ye Mo burst out laughing like he'd been waiting for this cue. He glanced to the side where someone slowly removed a hood and calmly said, "You heard that, right?" Ning Jingshu stepped out, eyes icy. Shed heard every single word. Song Shaoan panicked, scrambling, explained, misunderstanding, harmless jokes. Chunas, totally fine, promise! Jingshu ignored it all, spiritual power flaring as she warned, release her now, or Shed turn against the entire Song family. Cornered, he lashed out at Ye Mo, accusing him of setting a trap. Ye Mo shrugged. It was all self-incriminating, no one forced him. Then coolly concluded he was simply too stupid. Enraged, Song Shaoan ordered Tula and Tilin to attack. But Jingshu stepped in front of Ye Mo, forbidding anyone to move another inch. Instantly switching tactics, Song Shaoan pulled out his phone. One call and Chuna dies, so choose family or fiancé. The threat froze her, an impossible choice. At the stalemate, Ye Mo calmly intervened as if holding all the cards. He showed Jingshu a video and her eyes changed instantly. On screen, Chuna was safely carried away. Song Shaoan's plan had already collapsed. He stared in disbelief, utterly stunned. Layers of tight security and still outplayed silently. Ruan Lenlin had impersonated him, led everyone down the mountain, then secretly tipped off Ye Mo, making the rescue absurdly smooth. Back to now, Song Shaoan nearly went mad, betrayed by his own pawn. Jingshu looked at Ye Mo differently, realizing he'd calculated everything in silence. With no retreat left, Song Shaoan split the plan. Kill Ye Mo, stall Jingshu. She charged without hesitation. But an invisible force like a giant arm bound her limbs, instantly immobilized. Song Shaoan sneered, forcing her to watch Ye Mo die. Jingshu turned in panic as Tula and Tu Lin rushed in at terrifying speed. She could only scream for Ye Mo to run, but they were already upon him. Song Shaoan mocked coldly. Jingshu couldn't protect anyone. His words cut deep. Regret flooded her. She shouldn't have come alone. Meanwhile, Ye Mo stood perfectly still as killing intent surged toward him. Just as impact seemed certain, he vanished too fast for anyone to react. In the next blink, Ye Mo appeared behind them, one hand clamped tightly on Tula's head. His foot slammed onto Tulum's face, clean, brutal, efficient. The two were flung away like broken dolls. They rolled across the ground before melting into bizarre liquid forms. Yellow sludge churned and twisted like a mini vortex. Then Tulu barely reformed, horrified. Their rare substitute buddy trick had been shattered with ease. Before he could finish speaking, Ye Mo appeared right behind him. The distance mere centimeters. A punch exploded through the air like thunder, even Song Shaoan turning pale. Only now did he truly sense the spiritual chi erupting from Ye Mo. Those icy green eyes were unmistakable, a genuine immortal cultivator. Jingshu stood frozen, her assumptions collapsing in seconds. No weakling at all, Ye Mo stepped forward, killing intent storming outward. His low voice pressed down heavily. He'd waited for this day far too long. Buried memories resurfaced, prison pursuit, manipulation. Even those around him dragged into danger. So Jingwen's image flashed by, sharpening his gaze further. Standing before Song Shaoan, fist clenched and power surging, he growled, "You've always been nothing but an annoying fly. And I've wanted to swat you dead for a long time." The scene descended into chaos, bodies scattered, the air thick with bloodlust. Song Shaoan stood in the center, voice icy. So what if you're a cultivator? He hadn't wanted to use this move, the price was steep. Yet he did. A clone of himself split off and charged wildly. Nearby men were swallowed by eerie liquid, vanishing without a trace. Ye Mo observed calmly, this wasn't mere strength but a strange shifting technique, a unique cultivation art. Song Shaoan sneered, if they're useless, they might as well become part of him to perfect his shadow art. Devouring cultivators was enough. He roared madly, devouring two immortal cultivators at once. His power detonated. He stepped into the legendary first immortal realm. Darkness swallowed the space, leaving only his crimson eyes floating. His threatening voice echoed, "Next target, Yemo." Jingshu stood stiff with guilt. If she hadn't been careless, none of this would happened. Now Yemo was in danger because of her. She shouted for Song Xiao to release Yemo. Shed bare all grudges herself. That only drove him crazier, veins bulging. He roared and unleashed all his demonic power toward Yemo. A terrifying attack crashed down. Jingshu screamed for Yemo to dodge. Smoke and debris exploded, plunging everything into chaos. Yet in the next instant, Yemo stood calmly before her, his stance steady as a mountain, utterly unmoved. Jingshu was stunned silly by the jaw-dropping scene. Song Xiaowen stood frozen, clueless when Yemo had slipped past all his attacks. Yemo casually raised a hand, spiritual power flaring like it just stretched. He revealed first-level immortal cultivation and mockingly asked, "And this is your idea of strong?" Jingshu trembled as Yemo's aura clearly outclassed Song Xiaowen's. Yemo dashed like lightning and punched him straight into HP crisis mode. Song Xiaowen screamed in disbelief while Yemo chased him down without mercy. Still, he tried to fight back, bragging that even second level wouldn't beat his shadow art. Yemo simply raised a frosty shield, soloing the surging purple demonic power. In a blink, he threw a world-shaking punch that crushed the entire assault. He coldly declared that before true power, this shadow art was a joke. Suddenly, Yemo smiled knowingly and murmured, "Finally found you." He reached underground and yanked out a hidden eyeball. Calmly, he exposed the shadow art as nothing but a parasitic spirit worm feeding on its host's spiritual ki. Without hesitation, he crushed it on the spot. Song Xiaowen instantly coughed up blood. Shaking in rage and fear, he couldn't fathom how the abandoned Yemo was this monstrous. Han Ding Quang roared threats, flaunting the Song family and their hidden sect backing. Yemo answered with silence, stepping forward with killing intent thick as fog. Terrified, Song Xiaowen retreated, shifting from threats to tearful begging. Unmoved, Yemo raised his fist and said coldly, "Song Xiaowen, goodbye." The punch fell and blinding light devoured everything. Tai Huanghoot threw up a hand to shield himself. In the dazzling blue glow, Yemo stood like a demon god, spin-chillingly majestic. Song Xiaowen lay utterly defeated, barely breathing on the ground. Yemo calmly stated it was over, the intel secured and Chuna safely evacuated. Ning Qingxi exhaled, thanking him sincerely yet feeling an odd emptiness inside. Shed thought Yemo was a nobody, turns out the clueless one was her. Yemo replied lightly that with or without her, he'd hunt Song Xiaowen anyway, his goal never changed. Meanwhile, he examined the loot and noted the crude spirit artifact required at least 4th level immortal cultivation to craft. Jingshu couldn't help asking why someone this strong was discarded by Yejia. Yemo coolly said he and Yejia were done, and he wasn't strong enough yet, only reaching 3rd level would bring real transformation. Yemo's words steeled Jingshu's resolve no matter the cost. She'd reach 3rd level immortal cultivation. She would break free from the Ning family's suffocating grip. Yemo stayed silent after hearing her vow. Then he calmly reminded her their deal had fixed the issue in her body. He offered a spirit-dispersing pill to calm her rampaging spiritual qui. She stiffened, realizing it meant her cultivation would be wiped clean. Yemo explained her method was flawed, and would only shorten her lifespan, no other option remained. She hesitated. Without cultivation, she'd be a mere mortal forever. But Yemo added that if she wished, he could teach her true immortal cultivation. A few days later, under clears, Jingshu rolled her suitcase to Yemo's doorstep. Blushing, she announced she'd be staying per their agreement. Seeing her red face, Yemo thought her condition flared up, making her shove him inside in embarrassment. As they chatted, Yemo planned ahead. Song Xiaowen was settled. Next stop was Lushi for a spirit spring to level up. Before leaving, he told Jingshu to cultivate beside the silver heart herb, whose gentle ki would heal her body. He also tasked her with caring for the plant and the yard's dog. Watching the puppy bounce around, Jingshu asked its name, and Yemo froze as if nudged by an old memory. In the end, he named it 16. The dog wagged happily at once. A flicker of nostalgia crossed Yemo's eyes before the memories quietly faded. Peace settled in elsewhere, however. Storm clouds gathered at the Song family's back mountain as the elders awaited a key figure's seclusion exit. When the doors opened, Jaijun emerged, freshly advanced to 3rd level immortal cultivation, earning everyone's reverence. Laughing with dominance, he summoned Song Xiaowen to report on dealing with Yemo. Trembling, the impostor muttered they dropped it since the opponent was just a mortal. That answer enraged Jaijun, killing intent flared as he berated such cowardice from a Song. Coldly, he declared that if his grandson couldn't handle it, he would. 2 experts were immediately summoned and ordered to depart for Ninghai. The command was blunt and dripping with murder. Bring that brat's head back. Storm incoming. At dawn before sunrise, Ning Jingshu was dragged from bed, yawning that 5 a.m. cultivation beat even spa mornings. Meanwhile, Yemo sipped tea calmly, explaining Dawn had the richest spiritual Kai double efficiency. He slid her a glass and told her to drink before starting. Jingshu downed it without thought, only to feel warm energy spread through her body. Startled, she immediately questioned him. Yemo explained it was a diluted gathering spirit pill. Her body was too weak, so celery, cucumber, and herbs would ease her into it. Yemo secretly sighed. Back in his old world, this method was for babies, yet here he used it on a grown adult. He then urged her to change and get ready for real cultivation training. Later in a forest park, Jingshu blushed and whispered if this really counted as training, it looked suspicious. Yemo ignored her and explained that closer to nature meant denser spiritual ki prime training ground. Nearby elders gossiped, some thinking they were meditating, others calling it epic romance. Hearing that, Jingshu flushed harder and muttered a weak protest. Yemo simply told her to focus and sense the surrounding spiritual ki. He patiently explained her old method: forcefully absorb ki, mixing in chaotic energy, while the right way extracts only the purest essence. The difference was efficiency. Hers used scraps, his used nearly everything. To achieve that, she must focus her mental power on the spiritual altar at her forehead, empty her mind and feel. Step by step he guided her sense, detect, guide, but the harder she tried, the less she felt, panic rising with sweat. At that moment, Yemo gently touched her forehead. He told her to close her eyes and borrow his spiritual power to perceive. Jingshu blushed furiously but obeyed. Instantly, a new world appeared, thin, shimmering streams of spiritual ki drifting beautifully through space. Yahello explained this was Q's true form, invisible to normal eyes, especially faint in this world. Afterward, back to reality, he reminded her to keep practicing sensing and guiding Kai to enter first-level immortal cultivation. Time passed. Jingshu adapted while Yahello prepared his next move. A week later, he confirmed Lu She's location, standing silently with icy eyes. He calculated that Jingshu could now sense Ki, and the pills he left were enough for her first-level breakthrough. She could defend herself. Just then, a vehicle arrived the ride to Lu Shi. Yahello boarded without hesitation. Onlookers mocked him as a reckless student, but he couldn't care less. Inside, the air was cold. Everyone kept their distance. Yahello sat down, eyes flashing as he locked onto his target, Lu Shi. The vehicle quickly departed, the journey underway. Upon arrival, an announcement declared the destination Ninghui. Some passengers grumbled about the long trip, while others whispered about their target. "We've got the brat's location, finish him fast." Another voice laughed eagerly. After 30 years indoors, this outing would be fully enjoyed. A new clash was quietly brewing. Before the tension even settled, chaos erupted inside the vehicle. As passengers stepped off confused, a vicious man drew a blade, eyes cold enough to kill on sight. The driver recognized them and tried to negotiate, but a sword pierced straight through him. He collapsed on the spot, leaving everyone frozen stiff. The leader coldly declared someone on the bus should exist, cooperate or die the same way. Yahello stood nearby, eyes darkening. He quickly realized they weren't after him, just that he got dragged into the mess. Before he could quietly observe, his name was called. One thug stepped up to frisk him. Before Yahello could react, the leader ordered to kill him outright. Yet before they struck, they noticed he'd vanished. A strange gust swept through the bus. In a blink, Yahello appeared behind them and punched one man straight through the window. Without mercy, he coldly told the rest to come at him together. Another charged in rage but lasted exactly one hit. The rest fell one after another before they even processed what happened. In moments, they were all sprawled out, the silence afterward downright chilling. Yahello exhaled like he'd just swatted a fly. Opposite him, Wendong clutched her suitcase, stunned that a student could be so decisive. Outside, the damaged bus left the replacement driver shaking his head, no moving forward. Deep forest, no signal. Panic spread as people feared what lurked nearby. Meanwhile, Yahello leaned against a tree, calmly calculating. Leaving the forest was easy for him, but finding Lu Shi was another story. Summoning courage, Wendong offered to guide him to Lu Shi if he protected her. His reply was ice cold. He wasn't interested. She insisted he'd never find it without her. Yahello saw through it instantly. The thugs targeted her. And that suitcase, he asked sharply what made her think she could bargain. The invisible killing intent made Wendong tremble, yet she persisted. She revealed she was from Lu Shi and claimed his goal wasn't money. Her gaze steadied. She knew the key item he sought was in her hands. Just as things calmed, engine roars echoed, cars speeding through the trees sparked brief hope. Relief lasted seconds. The arrivals were from the Huabang. Someone ran to beg for help but was struck down instantly before horrified eyes. The leader stepped out coldly, saying the Hongbang would save them. Another reported Wazi had been found. The bruised man stammered that all his men were wiped out by a single brat. Hearing this, Leji exploded in fury, unbelieving that some kid dared go that far. Right then, another man begged for his life, claiming he knew the target's whereabouts in exchange for freedom. The others chimed in, even describing tracks to prove it. Leji narrowed his eyes, killing intent rising, and motioned for him to continue. Learning Yahello and Wendong had headed into the forest toward Guban, he sneered they'd walked into their own graves. The promise of freedom was a joke. Once he turned away, he signaled his men to wipe them out. Screams echoed through the forest before fading into silence. Scene shift to Guban town, far busier than before. Wendong quickly warned Yahello to hide his strength. Huabang would trace them here soon. Drawing attention could cause trouble, especially if others suspected he held secrets about the divine water. Yahello found that reasonable and said nothing more. She then led him to meet Aigo, a gentle-looking man tending a small dog. Seeing Wendong, Aigo smiled warmly as she asked him to arrange passage to Lu Shi ASAP. Aigo agreed, saying he'd get them onto a departing convoy. But peace didn't last. Thugs arrived, mockingly demanding Aigo's gambling debt. Tension spiked. Yahello watched, mildly annoyed and tempted to end it quickly. The truth came out. Aigo had borrowed at shark rates to treat his lover's illness, and the interest had snowballed monstrously. Wendong offered to repay it, but the sum quoted stunned everyone. Interest upon interest, a trap with no exit. The leader smirked, and Idao's Idguban's way dice gamble win and debt's gone, losing it doubles fair, yet clearly rigged. Aigo hurriedly tried to stop her, knowing they were casino pros, but Wendong was cornered. Without his convoy, she couldn't reach Lu Shi, and Huabang might arrive any moment. She calculated quickly, dice wasn't just luck but a hearing duel. And that was her edge, owned since childhood. Wendong took a deep breath, eyes turning resolute. The table's atmosphere tightened like a drawn bow, all eyes locked on her. Opposite her, William smiled confidently, certain of victory as the game began. Stakes weren't just money but life and death behind her. Yahello saw Shed stepped into a carefully laid trap. William was no mere gambler. Across the table, William inwardly sneered, Shed taken the bait. He recalled brutal childhood training, mastering every gambling trick, never losing a casino match. Especially with the hidden emblem on him ensuring results from the start, this game was already his. He politely offered her first choice, though in truth he was steering her exactly where he wanted. Wendong stayed poker-faced, but her brain was sprinting through calculations thanks to her super hearing. Even the tiniest clink of the dice hitting the table was crystal clear to her. She made her first pick with breezy confidence. The result matched her guess, win secured, money bagged. Aigo sighed in relief, thinking hope had just clocked in. The other side only sneered. One win meant absolutely nothing to them. Round 2 turned heavy. Wendong chose again, but William's move left everyone blinking. He picked triple ones, a result rarer than common sense. Even Aigo thought that was impossible. Yet when revealed, 3 identical numbers stunned the entire table into silence. William's grin widened, while Wendong panicked, doubting her own ears for the first time. The final round began. Her hand trembled, but she steadied herself to listen. The sound screamed odd, so she chose it though hesitation tagged along. The crowd started chuckling as if the ending had already been spoiled. William looked supremely confident this table was his turf, unshakable. When he chose the opposite, Wendong's anxiety spiked and self-doubt crept in. Just as she was about to reveal the result, Yemo suddenly raised a hand to stop her. The crowd erupted, but Yemo calmly declared this round ill play. William stiffened for the first time, his eyes flickered with uncertainty. Wendong sensed something unusual. Yemo didn't feel like an ordinary man. Yemo simply said, "Has like me." That single sentence sent a chill down Wendong's spine. The foreigner might very well be a cultivator. The tension snapped tight as someone slammed the table and protested loudly. He refused to let Yemo replace Wendong had only agreed to play her. Yemo ignored the fuss and tossed out a black card, calmly stating it held 1.2 million. Win and take it all. Greed flashed in the man's eyes. He smirked and agreed. Another life or death round it was. Rules were set: win and clear, all debts lose, and the debt doubles plus the 1.2 million vanishes. William stuck with even, staring at Yemo with smug confidence. Yemo stunned everyone by choosing triple ones, specifically odd triple ones. The crowd burst out laughing, thinking he was copying stupidity with style. Even Aigu warned him about the suicidal odds, while Wendong worried even more. But Yemo stood firm, stubborn as a nailed coffin. Across the table, William sneered inwardly, certain victory was already his. His cufflink let him subtly manipulate the dice, a child's trick to him. He ordered the reveal, already imagining scooping up the cash. But when the lid lifted, silence crashed down. 3 ones, odd triple ones. William's face drained of color as he shouted in disbelief, accusing them of cheating. This time he got roasted. Instead, Yemo casually exposed the dice-switching trick hidden in the cufflink. He even mocked it as amateur hour. The words sliced William's pride to bits. Panic leaked out as he realized he'd provoked the wrong monster. Wendong slammed the table, furiously accusing them of cheating. William dropped the act, declaring no one was leaving. He then hurled blades straight at Yemo. Cue the horror, those blades somehow embedded themselves in the wall instead, and Yemo had already appeared right beside William. With one hand, Yemo lifted him like trash, ice cold enough to freeze souls. The underlings instantly panicked. Yemo calmly stated, "Per the deal, the debt is void. Hand over the IOU." William didn't dare resist, screaming at his men to comply, voice shaking with fear. Even the boss didn't dare talk back. Once done, Yemo tossed William to the ground like garbage, then coldly told them to get lost. They fled in terror, not a single one daring to look back. Wendong watched, baffled how Yemo scared William senseless, but he just brushed it off. After retreating, the underlings still had no clue what happened. William trembled nonstop, haunted by the memory of his indestructible cufflink being crushed in an instant. He knew he'd met an existence beyond imagination and decided to leave ASAP. Meanwhile, outside Jun Lushi, a different storm brewed. Roadblocks set, sandbang just men waiting for prey to walk in. Intel confirmed the target would pass this road on return. This time, the price paid guaranteed no one would escape. Aigo, eyes red with gratitude, choked up. Without Wendong and Yemo, his lifelong convoy would be gone. Wendong smiled softly, saying he once saved her roadside, so this was just fate repaying fate. Yemo added calmly that traveling to Lushi without a convoy guide was troublesome. Mutual help, that's all. Aigo thumped his chest, boasting 50 years on this route, though old, he'd personally lead to ensure safety. Before departure, Wendong reminded him to mind his health. The convoy set off, leaving behind brief but heartfelt goodbyes. On the road, Yemo asked why a Lushi native like Wendong left and got hunted. She admitted she went out to fetch something for Fang Nan, and Huabang targeted her because of the box she carried. She didn't even know what was inside, only that it related to a cultivator. Hearing that, Yemo grew curious but stayed silent, quietly observing. On the bus, Lintian bragged about being heir to some Grand Lupai, claiming he could read souls like Menace. He kept judging fellow passengers, starting with a burly man who looked harmless. Even ordinary women weren't spared his dramatic, negative character reviews. He buttered up rich Miss Xiaowei with tales of cultivators fishing for favor. Outwardly a sage, inwardly a schemer calculating profit. Deeper into the road, the bus suddenly crashed into a tree, dust exploding everywhere. Before anyone recovered, fierce-looking men blocked the road. They claimed to be Huabang, forcing everyone off as tension snapped tight. The driver tried invoking Aigo's name to negotiate, instantly crushed. They even chopped off his hand on the spot. Blood sprayed, panic erupted, and screams filled the air as thugs searched every vehicle. Xiaowei was shoved into sheer terror. Lintian collapsed completely, begging for mercy and admitting his cultivator talk was pure fiction. The entire group spiraled into chaos. From afar, Yemo stood still, eyes icy, waiting for the right moment. The forest air grew heavy as guns aimed straight at Yemo. Liji sneered like a hunter over trapped prey, ordering him to kneel and beg while the gang laughed, sure a gun solved everything. A shot cracked the silence, the bullet tearing toward Yemo at deadly speed. Injured yet instinctive, Wendong lunged in front of him again, shouting a warning. Too late, she was blasted back, blood blooming as an old woman screamed. They shot them! We're doomed! Panic rippled through the crowd. Yemo froze for half a breath, eyes darkening at Wendong falling. Shed taken the bullet for him. Weakly she murmured, Yemo, him from the bang, debts must be repaid, didn't expect it to hurt this much, sorry. Fang Nan, sorry, her consciousness fading. Just before she hit the ground, an invisible surge burst from Yemo, wrapping her in a thin veil of light. His voice dropped low, don't die, as he gently laid her down. His gaze turned utterly still, no one dies here. The thugs hesitated at the sudden eruption of Yemo's aura. Tulin grinned, slightly trembling, so you're a cultivator, interesting. But can you be killed? He tightened his grip on the gun. Madness flashed across his face. Let's see if immortals stop bullets. His men fired in unison, but in that instant Yemo vanished, leaving only a wind like after image as he appeared beside Tulin. With one hand, Yemo twisted Tulin's wrist backward, bone cracking ASMR included. Tulin screamed, my hand! Yemo cut him off coldly, relax, there's more coming. In mere breaths, the battlefield turned into a screaming and fire remix, then silence, as every thug dropped flat. Meanwhile, Wen Wei was scrambling through the woods in pure panic. Gasping, he muttered he had to escape. He tripped over an old metal box. Falling hard, he froze inside was a weapon crate. A grenade launcher gleamed within, greed and fear flashing in his eyes. Suddenly a chilling aura swept over him from behind. He turned to see Yemo standing there like a silent ghost. Wenwei stammered, "What are you?" Yemo's icy stare answered, "First in my eyes, you're nothing." Behind them, Windong weakly whispered, "Is it over?" Xiaowei and the others stood frozen, unable to process the carnage. But in the shadows, Wenwei gripped the launcher, eyes deranged. "If I die, we all die." He roared and pulled the trigger. The grenade blasted out. It shot straight toward Yemo in a fatal instant. The projectile seemed to crawl through the air, its shriek freezing the atmosphere solid. Windong cried out. Before her voice finished, chaos exploded as everyone stared in disbelief. Wenwei shrieked madly, "Die!" In that heartbeat, Yemo moved a blur like wind. He executed the Wenying Bu technique, appearing directly in the grenade's path. His hand reached out calmly as if catching a harmless toy. On contact, his true ki surged out. It wrapped the grenade, halting it midair as invisible force spirals slowed it to near stillness. Windong stood rooted, mumbling, "This is insane." Yemo calculated coolly at ki refining second layer, barely enough to neutralize this blast, not yet his limit. The grenade, locked in his palm by true ki, had its inner structure crushed as he stepped forward. Each short step was lightning fast, killing intent rising in his eyes. This wasn't over. He then shot toward Wenwei, leaving only after images. Wenwei felt icy dread. One thought, run. Too late, an explosion thundered, dirt and smoke swallowing the scene. As it cleared, Windong rushed over, frantic. "Yemo, are you okay?" He replied coolly, "Fine, just scraped a bit," but she circled him in disbelief, caught a grenade and just scraped. The crowd finally erupted, fear shock, whispers. He caught a grenade barehanded. Is he human or a monster? Whispers about Cultivator spread fast, flipping the mood from chaos to aweless panic. Some even feared bringing Yemo into Lu Shi would invite calamity. Windong stepped up firmly, assuring safe entry and reminding them Fa Dao Hu was there. That legendary name alone steadied the jittery crowd. Elsewhere, Lu Shi was already boiling. Fa Dao Hu had just crushed a gang on arrival. Their domineering aura silenced the streets, and rumors of Fang Nan the demon flew everywhere. Under golden sunlight, the convoy finally reached Lu Shi's outskirts. The driver announced no further entry, everyone disembarked, and Yemo stepped down. His eyes swept the unfamiliar town ahead. Windong smiled softly, "This is Lu Shi." Hong Jia's guards blocked the entrance, shouting inspections as tension maxed out. Shiwei stood out, swaggering like he owned the zip code. His lackeys flattered shamelessly, claiming in Lu Shi his name alone made heads bow. Shiwei boasted he'd latched onto Hong Jia, knew every superior's habit, and even booked Kuanghua. Lu cheers erupted. Then his gaze. Juego's convoy rolled in and Shiwei's grin turned predatory. On the bus, Windong had just completed a transaction. Yemo quietly examined what it received. The spirit liquid was impure thin aura mixed with contaminants far from ideal. Before he could ponder further, trouble arrived. Shiwei blocked the convoy, pointing at Tianwei, demanding she stay for inspection. A bodyguard tried resisting and was instantly beaten. Bloody Tianwei recoiled in fear. Windong shouted Shiwei's name. He only sneered, dismissing Fa Dao Hui as yesterday's news. "In Lu Shi now, Hongjie rules," he declared. The words had barely landed when a sharp gust sliced through the air. A sword slammed into the ground before him, an inch closer, and he'd be headless. Shiwei went pale as a cold voice echoed, "Fang Nan had arrived," shifting the entire atmosphere. Fa Dao Hui's men rushed in, squaring off against Hongjie's guards. Tension ignited. Fang Nan stood center stage, sword humming, declaring Fa Dao Hui wasn't for trash like Shiwei to stir chaos. A breath later, he drew his sword, so fast most only caught a flash of light. Shiwei's underlings dropped like flies in second. In Yemo's eyes, that speed wasn't mere martial arts, it brushed the first cultivation realm. Shiwei was forced back again and again until Fang Nan's blade kissed his throat, his face ghost pale, sweat soaking his back. But at the last second, a staff shot in from afar, knocking the sword aside as the air itself seemed to split, followed by a crisp round of applause from behind. Another group emerged, their leader coolly calling Fang Nan's name with wary respect, like spotting a beast dragged out of the forest. Chu Wei forced a smile, scheming aloud that this was heaven's gift to Hong. Kill Fang Nan and the Fa Dao society collapses. Zhao Shu objected at once, warning that Hua Gang was watching outside and chaos within Lush would be a nightmare to clean up. Hong Chao stepped out calmly, clarifying he wasn't here to start a war but to take someone home, while a cold-aid man behind him ordered a clear path for Fang Nan. The Fa Dao society members froze and Daoju blurted in disbelief. Chu Wei nearly lost his mind, shouting that letting Fang Nan go would doom their power. Before he finished, a dry gunshot cracked, a bullet grazed his ear, blood spraying as silence swallowed the scene. Hong Chao lowered his gun, icy as winter, reminding Chu Wei he was just a disposable pawn with no right to question him. Chu Wei clutched his ear and collapsed, pale with pain and terror. Elsewhere, Yemo simply held his sword, thanked Hong briefly, and turned to Fang Nan. Fang Nan wasted no time, curtly ordering a retreat and ending the chaos in one sentence. Hong Chao stood stiffly, face dark, displeased yet powerless to object. Minutes earlier, both sides had been ready to clash, with Hong Chao even asking the odds of wiping out the Fa Dao society. Mr. Wu admitted they'd usually win until Yemo showed up and wrecked every calculation. He even warned that merely getting close to Yemo was flirting with death. In another corner, Jiao sighed in exhaustion while Gao Shu kept arguing as usual. Wendong led Yemo back to the Fa Dao society's base, showing him his prepared room. Yemo replied briefly, then he placed the so-called divine water on the table. Everyone was stunned, especially Zhao Shu, who recognized it as something Zhaka had left for Wendong. Wendong calmly explained she had given it to Yemo in exchange for protection. Fang Nan laughed, saying if Yemo kept his promise, the item was his, though he himself only knew it was a relic left by his missing father. Yemo fell into thought, feeling another clue slip away, while Fang Nan eyed him differently and bluntly asked if he was an immortal cultivator. The question dropped like a bomb, stunning everyone from Zhaoju to Wendong. Fang Nan bluntly admitted he had absorbed the divine water, felt his cultivation talent awaken, and might stepped into the immortal cultivator threshold. He seriously proposed a spar with Yemo to test the truth. Wendong sighed, knowing Fang Nan had never stopped trying to prove himself. As Fang Nan finished, the room's air grew heavy. Yemo stayed silent, studying Fang Nan as if measuring his true strength, then gave a thin, chilling smile and said simply, "Fine, begin." The group moved to a reinforced training hall built to withstand explosions, clearly not for friendly scuffles. Fang Nan shrugged off his coat, shifting from calm leader to full-on warrior mode. Zhao Ju watched excitedly. Gao Shi wanted in but was stopped. Fang Nan said no need for extras. Yemo coolly cut through the tension, telling all three to attack together, his sharp aura making the room go dead silent. Surrounded, someone blurted in shock, "What?" Zhao Ju snapped that Yemo had been acting like a top expert from the start. Lifesaver or not, he was annoying. Fang Nan forced a laugh, asking, "Mr. Yi, you're joking, right?" Seeing things spiral, Wendong hurried to intervene, telling them to wait. She stepped forward, urging her big brother not to strike. Zhao Yao turned and flashed her a confident grin, asking her to time him. Then he charged forward at lightning speed. Yemo remained utterly calm, unmoving. Zhao Yao swung his fist, declaring he'd knock Yemo awake. Wendong face-palmed, muttering that the three of them were doomed. In a blink, Yemo casually grabbed Gao Yao, leaving him stunned. "What?" With dizzying speed, Yemo dragged him back, then effortlessly hurled him across the room. An explosion followed, shocking everyone. Fang Nan and Gao Shu stared in disbelief. Yemo raised one finger calmly. He told them to come together. They agreed and moved. The two attacked simultaneously from opposite sides. Both fists shot toward Yemo at once. Fang Nan's long legs swept and flew it. Yemo's eyes suddenly blazed with fierce light. He caught Gao Shi's punch with one hand, and blocked Fang Nan's kick with his leg. Gao Shi's face twisted in shock at Yemo's icy expression. "What?" "He predicted all our moves," he gasped. Yemo then flung Gao Shu straight into Fang Nan. His techniques were executed with ruthless precision. From afar, Gao Yao wiped blood from his mouth and muttered, "This guy," Yemo asked coldly, "is that your full strength?" The others, bruised and battered, could only glare at him through clenched teeth. Fang Nan secretly flashed a signal to Gao Chao. The trio charged forward in perfect sync. Yemo stood there utterly unmoved. As the first challenger, he seemed to say, "Let's see you try escaping now." Countless phantom arms blasted at Yemo like rapid-fire firework. Yemo's eyes glinted as he casually lifted one foot. He stomped down, making the ground quake in protest. The shockwave sent all three flying like bowling pins. One decisive move, and they were instantly in danger. The battlefield turned into pure chaos. Fang Nan seized what he thought was a golden chance. He unleashed his magic aura, wrapping around him dramatically. Yemo still stood there, hands in pockets, bored. Fang Nan prepared to lunge at him. His hand was just about to touch Yemo's face. Fang Nan poured every drop of magic into that strike. Panting hard, he thought, "Got him!" When the smoke cleared, Yemo calmly asked, "Finished?" "Keep going and you'll really get hurt." Fang Nan gasped in shock. "What?" Zhao Chao complained, "Is he even human?" while Gao Yao asked Wendong how long they'd lasted. Wendong replied, "You barely held out 2 minutes 15 seconds short." Hearing that, they nearly lost their minds. Fang Nan fell silent, realizing the gap was absurdly huge. They noticed Yemo had even taken a single step. Fang Nan stepped forward and bowed, thanking Mr. Yi for going easy. Yemo said Fang Nan had one foot in the immortal cultivator realm, just lacking spiritual energy control. Fang Nan gaped, "Mr. Yi, was that your full power?" Yemo answered with majestic silence. Fang Nan scratched his head, realizing his father barred him from cultivation because he was too weak. Zhao Yao panicked about whether Yemo used full strength. Gao Chao sighed that it was obvious he hadn't. Yemo said coolly, "Now tell me about the divine water." Fang Nan sighed helplessly and he snapped off the pendant string around his neck. Smiling faintly, Fang Nan recalled his father's dying words. He emphasized that the secret lay inside this stone. Fang Nan explained it was his father's final keepsake, whose meaning he never grasped. He'd studied it countless times, but it looked like an ordinary rock. Everyone sat down, staring intensely at the stone. Yemo mused that it was indeed an image recording stone, viewable only from a cultivator's perspective. Fang Nan was stunned, a cultivator's perspective. Yemo raised it high, saying it was no normal stone. The stone suddenly blazed with light. The onlookers were utterly dumbfounded. Yemo declared, "This is an image recording stone." In the next instant, they were all pulled into a completely different space. A monk appeared in the vision, greeting. "Dao Xiao salutes you." Fang Nan spun around and cried out, "Dad!" Yemo reminded him it was just a recording. Only a 4th-level immortal cultivator could make an image recording stone like this. The monk pleaded for Dao Xiao to spare the children's lives. Fang Nan's eyes reddened as he called out, "Sadly, Dad!" The monk explained Dao Xiao came for the spirit spring, aka the divine water, and warned it was nearly dried up. Even Yemo was shaken, so the spirit spring was almost gone. The monk confessed his selfish guarding drained the spirit spring and ruined a nation. Realizing its existence brought disaster. Yemo's eyes gleamed. Did this monk know of other spirit springs? The monk declared he would bury the spirit spring with himself, though the secret would inevitably leak. He feared Fang Nan and Xiao Dong would face danger, so he left this message. If Dao Xiao insisted on finding the spirit spring, he should go to the monk's small temple. All secrets were hidden in his room there, free for Dao Xiao to take. Yemo stared at the glowing lock in his hand. The monk again begged Dao Xiao to spare his children, thanking him sincerely. "Xiao Nan, if you activated this, then congrats on reaching a new realm. Sorry for leaving so suddenly and not seeing you grow up." Wendong covered her mouth, choking out, "Dad." Smiling gently, the monk urged Xiao Nan to live peacefully with his siblings and never reveal his strength. "Looks like time's almost up, Xiao Nan." Fang Nan reached out, trying to grasp his fading father. The monk's final words, "I'm truly sorry." Fang Nan watched the light flash and vanish. Soon everyone returned to reality. Yemo gently placed a hand on Fang Nan's shoulder. He comforted him softly, saying he had done well. Fang Nan lowered his head, thanking Mr. Ye. He revealed the small temple was where he and Xiao Dong grew up, only they knew it. Wendong added that she'd take Yemo there tomorrow after some preparations. Yemo met Wendong's gaze and calmly agreed. Scene shift elsewhere, the atmosphere turned explosive. A wine bottle was hurled and shattered dramatically. Someone raged, "To hell with all of you! You all look down on me, I'll kill every last one!" A subordinate nervously asked the boss what to do next. Gritting his teeth, the man vowed to return for revenge, repaying his ear's humiliation 100-fold. He ordered his underling to hand over the phone. He barked into it, urging Ho Tao to speed up the plan and head to Liusha, but the reply warned that someone untouchable stood beside the target. Wen Wei snapped that it'd handle it, no more questions. Ho Tao assured his men were ready. He could take the target's life anytime. Suddenly, someone knocked on Fang Nan's door mid-discussion. They all turned toward the sound. Yemo's face instantly turned terrifyingly cold. The scene focused on the tightly shut door. Wendong wondered who'd visit at this hour. Fang Nan frowned. If the guards didn't stop them, something was wrong. Yemo simply stared at the door. A hand slowly gripped the handle. Yemo blinked in surprise. It was her. A soft voice greeted, "Hello, miss." She apologized for disturbing them so late. Fang Nan asked who she was. Wendong recognized her as Xiaolei from Aigo's convoy. Xiaolei shyly admitted she came to see mystery. Yemo pointed himself, stunned me. Xiaolei pleaded for him to save her grandfather. After returning from abroad, her grandfather had been wasting away with no clear cause. Though stabilized, he wouldn't last long and only a legendary immortal cultivator could save him. Yemo pondered. Saving someone could wait, but the spirit spring mattered more now. Xiaolei quickly added she wasn't asking for charity. She offered a family heirloom tied to cultivators as a deposit if Yemo agreed. Yemo recognized it at once. It was Purple Heart Vine. Purple Heart Vine grows only near spirit springs. Mortals gain longevity. Cultivators boost spiritual energy. For Yemo, it was priceless for speeding cultivation. Shame his healing talisman was used up. He said he couldn't act immediately but asked for contact details and would come when ready. Xiaolei beamed, urging him to accept the bracelet. Yemo thought, where there's Purple Heart Vine, there's a spirit spring worth investigating later. Wendong curiously asked about the wealthy man who came with her. Who was her father? Xiaolei replied calmly that her father was Xiao Zhanlong of Beijing City. Yemo was startled. Xiao Zhanlong, chairman of the Longdeng Consortium, one of the world's top 5 conglomerates, and had given 35 shares to his only daughter. Yemo confirmed she was that tycoon's daughter. Night fell, moonlight bathing a grand villa. A subordinate asked Hong Ye if he wanted coffee. He approved, telling them to enter. Armed men suddenly walked in instead. Shi Wei greeted him with coffee in hand, leaving Hong Yi stunned. "Do you even know what you're doing? Bite the blade guild, then go beg for a new master like a stray mutt." Han chuckled, mocking the old man for pretending age had dulled his judgment. "Look around, my crew's all here. Where are yours? Still trying to scare me with head count. You've clearly never seen real power." Wu Shancheng was thanked, replying coolly that he was just doing the job he was paid for. Wu Shancheng drew his sword and asked if they were ready to die. "I mean ready." Chuitek looked uneasy as Wu Shancheng prepared to strike. Suddenly, the old man spun and attacked Hong Jia, who barely managed a startled grunt. Wu Shancheng sneered that age had truly made him foolish to trust so easily. He burst out laughing, mocking the old fool for being betrayed by his closest ally. Clutching his throat in shock, Hong Jia gasped, asking why after all they'd been through. Wu Shancheng kept slashing toward Hong Jia without mercy. Hong Jia was caught completely off guard, unable to react in time. The old villain spat that had helped eliminate rivals, only for Hong Jia to hog all the rewards. Chu Rande urged Wu Shancheng to march south to Fang Nan's turf, wipe them out, and unify the flowing serpent. It's only a matter of time. Du Yushi Unji wiped his blade calmly, warning that Fang Nan had someone he couldn't handle. The man gaped. "What, even Wu Shancheng can't beat him? Is he a cultivator too?" The old man confirmed he was not only a cultivator, but stronger, and luckily, his senior brother was on the way. When the two senior brothers join forces, not a single one of them will walk out alive.